Hi everyone. I'm doing an unboxing of a box of stories, and this is the historical fiction box. And I tried to film this video, and my cat knocked over my tripod and my camera. So I've actually seen everything in the box, but I just had to redo the video. So I put everything back, and I'm gonna unbox it again, and maybe act like I'm surprised still, but really I'm not. But it's a good box. All right, here's this. I put this back. There's a little postcard sending out a good story from a box of stories. The first one, Counting Lost Stars. Gorgeous covers, pretty thick. Kim Van Alkemade. And it mentions 2 time periods. 1960, New York City. College student Rita Klein is a pioneering woman in the new field of computer programming until she unexpectedly becomes pregnant. At the Hudson Home for Unwed Mothers, social workers pressure her into surrendering her baby for adoption. Rita is struggling to get on with her life when she meets Jacob Nassi, a charming yet troubled man from the Netherlands who is traumatized by his childhood experience of being separated from his mother during the Holocaust. When Rita learns that Hitler's final solution was organized using Hollerith punch card computers, she sets out to find the answers that will help Jacob heal. 1941, The Hague, so this is 19 years before. Cornelia Vogel is working as a punch card operator at the Ministry of Information when a census of Holland's population is ordered by the Germans. After the ministry acquires a Hollerith computer made in America, Cornelia is tasked with translating its instructions from English into Dutch. She seeks help from her fascinating Jewish neighbor, Leah Blom, an unconventional young woman whose mother was born in New York. When Cornelia learns the census is being used to persecute Holland's Jews, she risks everything to help Leah escape. After Rita uncovers a connection between Cornelia Vogel and Jacob's mother, long-buried secrets come to light. Will shocking revelations tear them apart, or will learning the truth about the past enable Rita and Jacob to face the future together? That sounds really interesting. I love World War II era stories, and there's so many different angles that people experienced the war and the war era, and the idea of the punch cards I've never really heard about. The idea of searching for answers is a theme that I do like to read about. I like reading about Holocaust survivors or people whose family was affected. So this looks really interesting. I look forward to that. The next one is The Call of the Wrens by Jenny L. Walsh. An orphan who spent her youth without a true home, Marion Hoxton found in the Great War something other than destruction. She discovered a chance to belong. As a member of the Women's Royal Naval Service, the Wrens, Marion gained sisters. She found purpose in her work as a motorcycle dispatch rider, assigned to train and deliver carrier pigeons to the front line. And despite the constant threat of danger, she and her childhood friend Eddie began to dream of a future together, until the battle that changed everything. Now, 20 years later, another war has broken out across Europe, calling Marion to return to the fight. Meanwhile, others, like 20-year-old society girl Evelyn Fairchild, hear the call for the first time. For Evelyn, serving in the war is a way to prove herself after a childhood fraught with surgeries and limitations from a disability. The reformation of the Wrens as World War II rages is the perfect opportunity to make a difference in the world at 70 miles per hour. Told in alternating narratives that converge in a single life-changing moment, The Call of the Wrens is a vivid emotional saga of love, secrets, and resilience, and the knowledge that the future will always belong to the brave souls who fight for it. That sounds really intriguing. I've never read about carrier pigeons. People tend to say carrier pigeons is a joke. You know, if there's a, there's a weather outage, and but what's the real story behind carrier pigeons and how were they used? Another thing I like about the description of this book is that it bridges the gap between World War I and World War II. And a lot of people like to think of those in isolation, but really there was people that lived through both. And there are themes that connect the two, political themes, social themes. That sounds like an outstanding description. Can't wait to read that. The next one is The Castle Keepers And it looks like 3 different stories about the same family at different eras. So the first one is 1870. After a disastrous dinner at the Astor Mansion forces her to flee New York in disgrace, socialite Beatrice Holbrook knows her performance in London must be a triumph when she catches the eye of Charles Alnwick, one of the town's most enviably titled bachelors. She prepares to attempt a social coup and become the future Marchioness of Northridge. Then tragedy and scandal strike the Alnwick family, and Beatrice must assume the role of a lifetime, that of her true brave self. The next one, 1917. Artist Elena Hamilton arrives in Northumberland determined to transform a soldier's wounds into something beautiful. Tobias Alnwick's parents have commissioned a lifelike mask to help their son return to his former self after battle wounds partially destroyed his face. But Elena doesn't see a man who needs fixing. She sees a man who needn't hide. Yet seekers from their past threaten to chase away the peace they've found in each other and destroy the future they're creating. So it looks like all of these stories involve the Alnwick family. 1945. Alec Alnwick returns home from the war, haunted but determined to leave death and destruction behind. With the help of Brigida Mayer, the brilliant young psychoanalyst whose correspondence was a lifeline during his time on the Western Front, he reconstructs his family's large estate into a rehabilitation center for similarly wounded soldiers. Alec's efforts may be the only chance to redeem his family legacy and break the curse on the Alnwick name once and for all. 3 beloved authors share stories of the Alnwick family through the generations, revealing how love and war can change a place, but only as people can unshackle it from the misdeeds of the past. I'm wondering if this is about a grandparent, a child, and then a grandchild. I'm wondering how the generations work. But either way, it sounds intriguing. I like the fact that there's 3 authors. Sometimes I don't click with certain authors, so there's always a risk that you sort of click with one story and not the other. But I love the idea of 3 time periods. It speaks to history, and you learn about different time periods in history, but it's also about family history, which I'm also interested in. I'm interested in genealogy, things like that. For the Castle Keepers. And the last one, this is the one where my my phone and my tripod fell down because of my cat. But I was in the middle of reading this one. I Give It to You by Valerie Martin. Jan Vidor seems like the ideal tenant for a long summer holiday in a Tuscan villa. I love stories that take place in other countries, like Italy. Unobtrusive and widely sociable, the American academic can be relied upon to entertain herself, but her aristocratic landlady Beatrice has made a terrible mistake. A chance remark about a violent death at Villa Sciarra during the war piques Jan's writerly interest and sends her digging into the Salviati family's tragic past. Was Beatrice's uncle Sandro really mistaken for a partisan, or was his killer someone closer to home? Does it matter if Jan just fills in the gaps? After all, Beatrice said she could do as she liked with the story. She even said, "I give it to you." Again, that sounds really interesting. The plot sounds great, but also, again, I love the backdrop of Italy or any other country besides the U.S. and the U.K. I still love U.S. and U.K. books, but it's nice to have a different one for a change. And Italy is always just a fascinating place with lots of culture and history, personality. So that's it, historical fiction. If you love videos like this or like learning about book subscriptions, please like and subscribe because I'm going to do a lot more. I plan to continue getting a box of stories. I'm also going to be reviewing some other book subscription services. And also when I read books, I do a really short review, kind of just takeaways, no spoilers. So if you like content like that, please like and subscribe and hit the bell, of course. That's all for today.